Welcome back, everyone. I'm starting a new series, and this series is going to be geared around forms development. For this first video, we're going to be covering the overall application layout. Let's get started. First thing we're going to do is we're going to basically introduce a new component library. The component library that I usually use is Material UI. I highly recommend that if you're going to use Material UI, that you do not follow the process that I'm about to do. You need to go to the documentation by going to MUI.com, going into the documentation and seeing how the installation is done. While you may be watching this video almost immediately, here soon, and changes probably wouldn't be done yet, there is a potential that things will change sometime along the future. And with that, you want to be able to make sure that you install the latest version of it. And to install the latest, I always recommend just go to the documentation. Don't follow this video. The reason for me doing it through the video or adding this through the video is just so that you can get a general perspective, not necessarily for you to follow step by step. Okay, that being said, let's go ahead and get that installed. Let's change directory into our tackle box, paste our installation, so that we can go ahead and install what we need for Material UI. And now, while it's installing, well, it's already installed. It's pretty fast, but let's go ahead and clean this component up a little bit. Inside the component, we're going to start by doing what Material UI recommends. And it has a CSS baseline component that it recommends that so we're going to add that. I was reading on the documentation a little bit, and it appears that that helps with the different versions of browsers that your users may be using. So it's important to bring that in. I'm going to go ahead and add that to our component. And that is a CSS baseline. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a container. So there's a container option, and what this does is adds a little bit of margins and padding on the sides. So let's go ahead and get that done. Let's bring in the container, and the container will be imported. And you'll notice that I'm doing the imports on their own. I used to basically group them all in braces like this and just bring in Material UI, but I was doing a little bit of reading on that, and it's not the best practice. This is the best practice to bring in every piece that you need on the component. That way you're not hurting any kind of, you're not hurting your application, essentially. All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead and bring our container. All right. And so that's our container in here. The next thing we're going to do is just so that we can stay organized, we're going to do is, which I've already done, is I recommend creating a content folder. Inside the content folder, create a component called content TSX. And you'll notice that I do this a lot. This is the Emmet abbreviation, and these basically create for you a component. You can see basically what the component is going to look like here in the preview. This component specifically is the React arrow functional export component. If I press enter, you'll notice that that creates my component there. All right, and then I'm going to place my component in here. So I'm going to bring in my content component, and that in a nutshell is working on the layout for our application. I'd like to thank you for coding with me today, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, give it a like. If you think someone else could benefit, please share it. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment and subscribe if you can. It's free for you and it really helps me out. Finally, if you can, go ahead and click on that bell to let you know when the next video is added.